wish all of you an extremely happy, healthy, and prosperous 2021. I started working in the year 1989. And, I became a fund manager in ICICI in the year 2004, 16 years back. And I can tell you, I've never seen a year like 2020. I mean, there have been years where the markets have been extremely bullish. And there have been years like 2008 and 2001, 2011, where the markets have been very bearish. But I've rarely seen a year where I've seen extreme bearishness and extreme bullishness both in the same year. And I've seen it both in equity markets and in debt markets. It's been an amazing year. And as the year ends and we get round to having festivities in the comfort of our homes only and nowhere else actually, we have a situation where the year has ended phenomenally well. We are at record in equity markets. We are at record in debt markets. Anyone who chose to stay invested, when we were actually trying our best to tell everyone in the month of March that not only stay invested but invest aggressively in equity, or in end April where we told everyone invest aggressively in debt and credit. I think all of them have been richly benefited by all that has happened in the markets in the year 2020. But when the markets have ended in 2020 at records, actually the responsibilities for all of us has increased significantly, particularly for mutual funds like ICICI Mutual Fund, because to end a year at record in equity and in debt poses a lot of responsibility on us. Because at the end of the day, we are institutions which have been created under the regulation of SEBI to look at the long-term interest of investors for the long term. It was never for the year 2020, but it was for the next 5 years and 10 years. So the challenges are large. So let me look at individual asset classes. So let's look at debt. So when we look at debt, for example, we are in a very interesting situation in debt. Bulk of the returns has already come. And we are in a situation where I don't think interest rates can go down further from here. And because interest rates can't go down further from here, I don't think it is possible to make big money in equity, in debt from here in duration. And we are in a situation where to make money in debt in duration is difficult. So what do you do in debt? Clearly, what we believe very strongly is that debt is part of an asset allocation framework. And when debt is part of an asset allocation framework, there are very interesting ways to invest in debt. So we have, for example, we have created categories like balanced advantage category, where people invest in debt, equity, and arbitrage. And you have a fund of fund category where people can invest in asset allocator fund of fund, which invests in equity, debt, and gold in this. And both these can actually invest in all the three asset classes. There are absolutely low risk accrual categories like overnight. And we have interesting accrual categories, which I would call categories like arbitrage, which don't even invest directly in debt, but take very equivalent debt kind of frameworks. And they are not necessarily debt funds, but they give you debt style returns if you invest for periods above a certain level, although they are not strictly debt funds. So I think these are the ways to invest in debt at this point of time. And we think, it's very important for investors to recognize that as our regulator SEBI says, past returns are not equal to future returns. This year, when you look at any debt product, don't look at the past returns alone. Always consult your financial advisor and also read up, because the past returns is not going to be the future returns. There are categories where the past returns have been phenomenal, but the future returns may not be equal to the past returns. Having said that, debt plays a very important role in asset allocation. Gold is an asset class which is very interesting, and I believe that it is an asset class which no financial investor can understand beyond a point. But it plays a role again. I think it makes sense for every person to have a small amount in that asset class. And what we always have done is we have created categories like multi-asset and asset allocator fund of fund, where a small amount is anyway invested. That is one way of investing small amounts. And that is the way we think we should invest in this asset class, because it's an asset class that doesn't give you dividend, doesn't give you interest. So that is as far as debt is concerned. Now let's come to the most interesting asset class, the asset class which gets all of us very, very interested, and the asset class which was the asset class which created maximum volatility, maximum losses for all the traders, and maximum profits for all the investors: equity. Where are we now? Actually, the reason why we are all smiling in equities, as I have mentioned at various occasions, is due to the central banks of the world led by the US Central Bank. The US Central Bank decided that they should make all equity investors smile. So they made all of us smile by the end of the year. And I think, as long as the US Central Bank decides that all equity investors should smile, we will all continue to smile. So till what day will the US Central Bank make us all smile? Till the day US allows inflation to come up. The day inflation comes in a significant way in US, I think we will have a situation where we can all have a very, very pleasant situation. But the day US sees big inflation, the US Central Bank, I think, will make all of us start crying as far as our equity portfolio is concerned. So that's the way we look at it. So what again we recommended to most people, and we've done this over a long period of time, we've been telling people follow asset allocation strategies, because it is only in asset allocation strategies that these intermittent corrections that we have seen in the last 10 years, whether it is the Portugal, Ireland, Greece, Spain problem of 2011, the taper tantrum of 2013, the demand-related fall which happened for a few months, the entire problem which surrounded Divan and ILFS, the COVID-related problems, all were seen as opportunities for people who used asset allocation strategies and actually worked on that whole model, because they got all these opportunities to buy. And asset allocation strategies resulted in a situation with just half the risk taken, people got very, very reasonable returns out of the asset class called equities. We think still, if you look at the next 10 years, that would still be the case. I don't know whether that would be the case as far as the next 1 year is concerned. I do believe that if you have a situation where you have on a 1 year basis, maybe asset allocation may not be the best way to play, because we have nothing untoward happening in 2021. Equities could be a greater way to play. But if you have a situation, it's coming. Yeah. If you have a situation where over the next 5 years, clearly asset allocation is still the way to invest in, because equities is always a volatile asset class. Because the day US inflation comes, you will see the correction in global equity markets and in India. And at that point of time, asset allocation strategies really help us. And as most of you know, we have spent a lot of time and energy in creating those asset allocation kind of frameworks, which we think can actually help a lot of people to invest. As ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund has been focused on, our goal is very clear that it has to be investors in all corners of India who have to invest. It has to be investors in Kanyakumari, it has to be investors in Kashmir, it has to be investors in Northeast, it has to be investors in Gujarat, it has to be investors in the hinterland. If you want everyone to invest, you need to have defensive strategies, because over the last 30 years, we have seen huge equity bull markets, but essentially, those equity bull market people have all invested when the markets have been bullish and not invested when the markets are bearish. Whereas asset allocation strategies ensures that when the markets are bullish, money is collected, and then when the markets are bearish, the money is invested, like the months of February, March this year. And that's why we think asset allocation strategies remain as one of the most basic ways to invest. Is that the only way to invest? No, certainly. But is that the way to invest for a substantial part of the investor population? Yes, because the substantial part of the investor population tends to make mistakes by getting very, very greedy when they should be fearful. And they get fearful when they should be greedy. And this year was the best example. Which was the best time to invest in equity this year? The period between March 10th and March 31st this year. Was that the easiest time to invest for most people in equity? The answer is no. Was that the best time? Yes. Was it the easiest time? No. And that is the reason why we think that asset allocation strategies is turning out to be the best way to invest for the long term. Because if you look at most of the asset allocation strategies that we ran, the maximum amount of investment that was carried out by us actually resulted in maximum investments in equities in that period. So if you look at the categories of asset allocation strategies that we ran, the maximum amount of money invested in equities happened in the month of March, because that was the way, that was the time when there was maximum greed and fear, and valuations were very, very low, because that is the goal in which money can be made. But, as an asset management company, and many of the investors have pointed out to us over the period that exclusively focusing on asset allocation strategies has been not something that people want us to be. And they said that we want you to be thought of as an equity fund house. So the first thing that we did was in the month of March, when the market struck into an extreme bear phase, what we did was we actually encouraged all our fund managers, and we did maximum amount of engagement in trying to reach investors across India to convey to them that today is the day to invest in equities, not even tomorrow. And that was because, we were always over 2017, 18 and 19. We actually continuously conveyed to people that the best way to invest was asset allocation strategies. In 2020 March, we got an opportunity to tell people equity is the best way to invest. So we used that opportunity and conveyed it to as many people as we could. And even through mass media TV channels, I got an opportunity to tell twice on TV that today is the day to invest. And that was one opportunity. But unfortunately, as you know, after that, markets have run up. When markets have run up to this situation, we are in a very, very strange situation. A lot of people have been asking us, what do we do? We want to invest in pure equity. And here we are faced with a very, very complex situation at this point of time. Markets are at all-time high. Many people want to invest in pure equity. Many recognize that there are risks in pure equity, but they want to invest in pure equity. Over the last 12 years, ever since 2008 happened, there was one thing that I and my colleagues in ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund, we realized one thing, that there is not one way of investing that is a micro way. There is also a micro and a macro way. And business cycles play a long and important role in determining equity allocations. Because in 2008, when Indian equities fell 50%, bulk of the reason was due to the US financial crisis. And we realized that, macro plays a very big role. Again, in 2011, when Indian equities fell to 25%, again, we realized it was due to the Portugal, Ireland, Greece, Spain problem. So due to that, we realized that in 2013, again, the taper tantrum was a global problem. And that led to a situation where we realized that there was an opportunity to start long-term investing in India, due to which we got an opportunity to actually launch a series of funds called as Value Series 1. And when we look back and realize that macro and business cycle oriented approach has a huge role to play from an investing angle, because in the world post 2008, the actual control of equity markets has actually been taken control by the global central banks. So if you look at the global central banks in 2018 fourth quarter, there was a dramatic fall in US equities. But once the US Fed chairman Jerome Powell came on TV and said, I am there to save the markets. After that, in 2019, markets just took off. In 2020, when COVID happened, markets crashed, not by a small amount, by a phenomenal percentage. Again, when US Fed Jerome Powell came and said, I'm there to handhold and backstop almost everything, the markets had this dramatic rally. What that meant was that it was actually macro and business cycles which played a big role in investing. And this was something I never learned from 1989 to 2007, the first 18 years of my career. But after 2008, the role of macro became so sacrosanct. But in India, we always still stuck to the 1989 to 2007 period and realized that micro is most important. But we moved on and realized that macro is much more important. So we said that there is scope now to launch a scheme which is much more focused on the macro, or focused on a business cycle, that the way we will look at stocks and the way we'll look at the equity markets will be from a business cycle lens, which will be a much more macro lens. Because that is the way we would be able to react to an event like COVID, react to an event like a taper tantrum, react to an event like Portugal, Ireland, Greece, Spain problem in a way which is very different. And we said that has a huge scope over the next decade, considering we are at record low interest rates. We are at a situation where government debt to GDP is at a record. We are at a situation where government fiscal deficit across the world is at record. So we are in a macro world where the world stock markets are controlled by the central banks. And the world's largest holder, the Japanese largest holder of stocks, has become the Japanese central bank. And I heard that the Swiss central bank has become one of the biggest stockholders in the world. So the baton of the central banks becoming the biggest controller of equity markets has happened. And we said at this point of time, a business cycle oriented approach with a macro thought process has huge scope. So we said we should launch an ICICI Prudential Business Cycle Fund, which we said we should start, which will end on 12th January with this approach of macro. What are the risks of macro? The risk of macro is that we all think of macro and we can get it wrong. So macro is something like, we all thought that the NBFC problem will happen in 2006-17, but it took quite some time to play out. So you can be early. Second is you can go wrong by being, you can also go wrong. And for that, what we realized was that we as an asset management company, frankly, have the expertise of both equity and debt. So we said in a business cycle kind of fund, we will take the expertise of someone who has been in our company for more than 15 years and who has looked at debt, also in the fund, Manish Bantia, along with a person who has been in equity for more than 20 years and who has been a consultant and who has seen financial systems in UK and in India. And we said that with all this, we hopefully will be able to get macro right. And that is the way we look at it, because we think that the next 10 years is going to be a very interesting period for macro, because this bull market is also going to end in macro. This bull market could not have been predicted by anyone micro. It could have been predicted by only macro. And again, the business cycle is also going to end by macro. And we felt that such an opportunity exists that we will be one of the first to focus on business cycle oriented investing in this market, because the market believes so much in micro oriented investing at this point of time. And we think that such an approach has an interesting flavor. Of course, we have to get it right, and that is a definite challenge. But we think that this combination of very low interest rates, very high central government deficit to GDP ratios, very high fiscal deficit to GDP ratios, and very high stock market levels all make it very, very interesting for us. Because the advantage of a macro-based business cycle fund is that it has the potential to be defensive. So when we want to be defensive, we can have a fund which is just invested in defensive sectors like FMCG, pharma, technology, etc. And that is the advantage of this fund. And this is the kind of framework we thought we should do in the new year, with everything being at record. Because aside from asset allocation based strategies, we are left with a situation where we are actually wondering what should investors do in this low interest rate environment, and with so much of money to be invested for many of the people at this point of time, not knowing what to do at these low interest rates and elevated equity markets. We hope that this kind of a business cycle approach will lead to very good frameworks for investing over the next 10 years. As an asset management company, we have long believed in macro, which was the reason why we launched the US Blue Chip Fund in 2012. We were big believers in macro when we launched the Value Series 1. So we believe that this year in March, when we gave a reasonable buy call on all equities through all channels possible, again, it was based on macro. And we hope such an approach helps us to create good value for all our investors. Of course, every investing, particularly equity investing, carries its risks. And we want 2021 and future years to be also prosperous. But starting the year with record equity and record low interest rates makes our job much more difficult. And I want to wish all of you a very, very happy, healthy and prosperous 2021 and years ahead. And I believe that the challenges on investing are just increasing by the day for all of us, and look forward to a very, very interesting period ahead. And I think the best way to go about it is by focusing on asset allocation, way to invest for years ahead in investing. Thank you all for sparing all the time to listen to me, and enjoy your 2021. Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.